Hello, everyone. Welcome to VCF Breakroom chat. My name is Audrey Bien, and I am the Principal Product Marketing Manager at Broadcom. I work on Kubernetes on VMware Cloud Foundation. In today's episode, we will talk about native cloud services in VCF. I have my coworker, Natalie Fisher, a Principal Product Manager with me for the chat. Natalie, would you please give our audience a quick intro?
So my name is Natalie Fisher. I am a principal product manager here at Broadcom, and I am focused on modernizing the VCF platform experience. So a lot of my work is going to center on how we bring cloud native services like Kubernetes, which internally and externally we call VKS for vSphere Kubernetes services, GitOps, container registries, and more services like that natively into VCF so that it feels seamless, it's scalable, and it's enterprise ready. Now, what's exciting is how fast we're evolving VCF from an infrastructure platform into a true private cloud. And it's something that is going to mirror what the developer and platform engineers are experiencing that you would expect in a public one. And I believe that is what we're going to be getting into today.
That's very exciting. And you know what? We just announced the VCF 9.0 in June last month. And so when we have been talking about the native cloud services in 9.0. So can you tell us what are these services?
Yeah. So in VCF 9.0, we are continuing to expand our portfolio of native cloud services, all of which are fully integrated into the platform and lifecycle managed. These services are going to give our platform teams a more cloud like experience out of the box. And for VCF 9.0, we added a couple of new ones. We added Argo CD, which is a GitOps based continuous delivery service that keeps application state synchronized with Git. It's going to help the platform engineers or the platform teams enable automated, auditable deployment workflows at scale. We've also introduced Secret Service, which is a centralized secrets management service integrated with vSphere Supervisor. And it's going to provide a secure way to manage, store, and distribute sensitive data like key value pairs across workloads. But I do want to also make sure I'm mentioning the services that we had prior to 9.0 as well, because they're going to continue to play a critical role in the VCF platform experience. So we have Harbor, which is our secure enterprise grade image registry. We have external DNS, which automates DNS records management based on Kubernetes services and ingress. We have Valero, which handles backup and restore of Kubernetes workloads. Cert Manager, which automates TLS certificate issuance and renewal for workloads, and DSM, which provides database as a service functionality, and AI Services, which enables customers to deploy and manage private AI infrastructure, which is going to include GPU workloads and AI ML frameworks. And what's going to make all of these services powerful is that they're not just add ons, but they're platform native. And they're going to share that same lifecycle tooling, tenancy model, and infrastructure automation that you would expect from a public cloud. And this is how VCF is no longer just about virtualization. We are delivering a private cloud platform that's going to support both traditional and modern workloads as the technology continues to evolve.
That's very good. And we all know in the VCF, there is a layer of we call abstraction layer, vSphere supervisor that hosts all these native services. Can you tell us about vSphere supervisor and how do customer they handle the update?
Yes, absolutely. So this is a really important question because vSphere Supervisor isn't just a Kubernetes enabler, which is how I think many people have historically viewed it. It's actually the control plane for the entire private cloud experience with VCF. So if you think about a public cloud like AWS or Azure or GCP, they each have a centralized control plane that understands the infrastructure and exposes services to the users. And that is exactly what Supervisor is within VCF. It is that service of services. It's orchestrating key cloud constructs like vSphere namespaces, VKS clusters, and VMs, all through a consistent and policy aware platform layer. But what makes Supervisor so powerful is how deeply it integrates with our vSphere environment because it can talk directly to NSX to provision network services. It automatically allocates storage from vSAN or any kind of policy backed data stores, it enforces tenancy, access control, and lifecycle policies. And it serves as that orchestration layer, as I mentioned before, that ties all of these services together into a cohesive experience. And I want to point out that there is an important differentiator. Public clouds support VMs and Kubernetes, but they don't necessarily manage them together. So in AWS, for example, you use EC2 for VMs and EKS for Kubernetes, and they're two separate control planes, two different policy models, and that fragmentation forces the platform teams to build and maintain parallel workflows to support both kinds of applications. Now, in contrast, with VCF, everything is managed under a single control plane, which is supervisor. And that means there's shared automation, networking, like I mentioned before. You have a unified operational model across VMs and containers, and consistency that enables teams to modernize at their own pace without any compromise or fragmentation. Now, the second question you would ask me is about updating it or managing it. And this is where VCF 9.0 brings a major improvement, which is that introduction of asynchronous supervisor. So, supervisor in the past was delivered bundled with vCenter, which meant that updating supervisor required a full vCenter upgrade. And that limited the agility and could possibly delay access to newer Kubernetes versions or critical patches. But with VCF 9.0, Supervisor is decoupled from vCenter. It can be delivered and updated independently. And the first release that we just delivered supports the Kubernetes versions of 1.30, 1.29, and 1.28. And this is really going to give our customers more flexibility and choice about what they want to run and manage. With the async supervisor, the customers can also access the new supervisor versions faster. They can do non disruptive updates. They can choose from online or offline updated workflows, which is going to be ideal for those who are maybe disconnected or in regulated environments. And again, that just gives the teams, the IT and the platform teams, the agility, security posture, and flexibility that they're going to expect right in their own data center.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad to hear, the supervisor is deeply integrated in VCF. But how about this like cloud services on it? How they interacted with each other?
So all of these services are deployed and managed to the supervisor, which, as I mentioned earlier, acts as that control plane for VCF. And because supervisor really understands the environment or your particular environment, I mentioned it can automatically provision networking, allocating storage, and things like that with any kind of manual configuration. And that infrastructure context of that knowledge is going to apply across all services. So, for example, Valero can back up both your workloads and supervisor managed services or resources like namespaces and service configurations, which is going to support end to end recovery. DSM and AI services are going to benefit from that same shared scaffolding, which is going to include tenancy, resource governance, lifecycle automation. And with Secret Service, we're going to be adding another critical layer of integration. It provides a centralized namespace scoped store for managing sensitive data like API tokens and credentials, and workloads, including VM services, the VMs and the VM services, the vSphere pods, and the containers inside VKS clusters. They can securely consume those secrets as long as they reside within that same namespace. So ultimately, these services don't just coexist side by side. They operate with a shared policy aware framework built on supervisor. And that's kind of what elevates VCF from just having like a set of tools to being a cloud.
Yeah, and also you mentioned the Argo CD in the very beginning of our conversation. I know we just did announcement of the Argo CD integration in the supervisor. Would you like to talk a little bit deeper about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to talk a little bit more about the outcome and why adding Argo CD was so important to us. Adding the Argo CD operator to the VCF platform is a major milestone because it directly supports the capability that our customers have been asking for, which is declarative GitOps style application delivery that's tightly integrated into their private cloud. And this isn't just a generic Argo CD deployment. It is a VMware built operator fully integrated with the supervisor, which means it benefits from that same again, lifecycle tooling, security posture, as all the other VCF services. And we just did initial release a couple of weeks ago to be part of VCF 9.0. We are supporting Argo CD 2.14.13. And again, this is going to enable our teams, the platform teams, the cloud users to deploy and manage workloads using GitOps within their assigned namespaces without having to like bolt on any kind of third party tooling. But more importantly, this launch reflects a broader commitment. We see GitOps as a foundational operating model for the private cloud, and Argo CD is just the beginning of that. We're continuing to invest in the service. We want to enhance multi cluster support, improving secrets integration, refine the user experience, because we know that these are capabilities that matter the most to our customers. It's also a perfect example of how VCF is not just supporting modern workloads, but it's aligning with modern cloud operations. And Argo City shows that we are building towards that native experience where infrastructure, automation, and app delivery are all working together securely, consistently, and at scale. So we are really excited about what's already possible today, but even more excited about what's coming next as we continue to evolve this service based upon real customer needs.
That's very interesting. You're saying we're very excited about what's next. So my next question for you is, so what is the future for VCF services for our customers? I mean, it's not only just a cloud services we mentioned, including all the VCF services and experiences. Can you share a little bit of your insights about the future?
Yeah, so I kind of want to do this from a very high level perspective so people kind of get a feel for where we're trying to go and what's really important to us. But today, BCF is not just a converged infrastructure solution. We are a modern cloud platform where services, whether the services support traditional VMs, Kubernetes clusters, or app platforms, are going to live. We want to be that backbone for self service, automation, and developer experience. So, we really want to build this world where teams can come and say things like, I want GitOps, I want monitoring, I want ingress, and I want it governed, scoped to my namespace, and ready to go. And as VCF, what we really want to say is, here you go, right? Click, configure, and done. And that is really the North Star for all of our services is that we want to create that experience for the users that is easy for them to do and utilize.
Awesome. And in this episode, can I do a quick sum up? So we talk about native cloud services, we talk about the vSphere supervisor, and how these services cohesively work together on vSphere supervisor. And then now we also covered our announcement about the Argo CD integration. Lastly, we shared your insights about the future of VCF services. That's really great, and I learned a lot from you. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. If you like this episode, join us for the next one. And this is your host, Audrey Bien, with Natalie Fisher. Have a fabulous day. Bye.
Bye.